Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day to join me for the video today. And in it, I want to talk about undervalued wide receivers. These are guys I think can help you win your leagues by greatly outperforming their current ADPs. But before we get into all of that, I would greatly appreciate a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, keeps the channel moving forward. We're on our way to our first 500 subscribers, and every little bit helps. To all my current subscribers out there, thank you, thank you, thank you. Could not do it without you guys. With that done, let's get into these wide receivers. First guy that I'm looking at today is Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Chargers. An ADP of 47, sitting at wide receiver 18. And the big thing about Big Mike is the touchdown potential here. We have already seen his elite upside through the first 5 weeks last season. He was wide receiver 1 atop the mountain by himself. Now he got an injury in week 5 with the knee, and it obviously affected him as the season went on. The Chargers did not pay this man $20 million a year over 4 years to not produce. I think he's going to be featured in this offense a lot. Yes, Keenan Allen is still there. He's going to see his fair share of the targets and is probably still the wide receiver 1. But we do not know that for certain. This could be the year where that changes, and either way, Big Mike is the guy who's going to get the valuable touches in the red zone. He is the giant target that Justin Herbert looks at when they are in close, and I expect plenty of scoring opportunities for him this year. One of the main reasons why I think he's undervalued here at wide receiver 18. He is going behind people like Deontay Johnson and Terry McLaurin, as well as Jalen Waddle, and I think he has a much higher ceiling than all of those players. He's going to be in that Chargers offense, which is destined to score a ton of points. They're going to be in shootouts at least a third of the year, every single game they play in the AFC West. So there are going to be plenty of chances to cross the goal line and put up points for your team. Next up on my list is Jeudy. I love his potential, just like Big Mike's. In the red zone, I think he's going to have a lot of scoring opportunities in what should be a high-scoring Broncos attack. Obviously, much better this year with Russell Wilson coming over. I think that while Courtland Sutton might see more targets, similar to Keenan Allen, Jeudy is going to be the guy that they look to in the end zone. He is going to have more opportunities to get you those big scores. In addition, when we look at the time played together, which it was not a lot, about 11 game sample size with Jeudy and Sutton, everyone is just assuming that Courtland Sutton is going to be the number 1, but Jerry Jeudy actually had twice the yardage that Sutton did when they played together. And so I think that tells us something, that maybe we're undervaluing Jeudy a little bit here. Sutton is currently the wide receiver 20. Jeudy, I love the value here because he might be the better option as a Denver Bronco receiver, and I want a slice of that pie in that offense, and he's coming at a cheaper price, so it is a win-win in my opinion. I like them both, but if I have to take either one at their ADP, Jeudy is the guy that I am targeting. Next up, one of everyone's favorite breakout candidates this year. I was on him way back in July when we were doing my wide receiver rankings video, Gabriel Davis, and the ascension has not gone high enough in my opinion. Right now he's wide receiver 27 on Fantasy Pros with an ADP of 69. He's going behind players that just do not have the same upside that he possesses in the probably number 1 passing attack in the NFL with Josh Allen at the helm. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is that dude and the number 1 guy, but Davis is going to see plenty of targets in his own right. He caught a touchdown pass on over 10% of his targets last year, and while it's not going to be that same efficiency this year, it does not have to be to make value on this current price. I think Davis has the potential to be a wide receiver 1. I think that is his ceiling. And when we're looking at guys in the middle rounds with an ADP of 68, you do not get that type of upside for this price. So Davis is a guy that I am heavily targeting. I'm willing to go probably a round earlier than this ADP to get him on my roster because he can be a difference maker and win you your league. When we're looking at wide receivers that are going around his level, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper are all right there. And I think that the upside for Davis far outweighs anything that you could get from those guys. We need to be higher on Gabriel Davis. Michael Thomas is up next, wide receiver 28, coming right after Davis. And there's a lot of things to like, and there's obviously a lot of concerns with Michael Thomas. First of all, the injury. Is he going to be the same guy when he comes back? It looks like he's going to be good to go for week 1. The targets there and what that's going to look like is also a bit of a question mark. Obviously, Jarvis Landry is now there. Chris Olave was drafted highly, so he might not have such a big slice of the pie this season. But at this price, at wide receiver 28, he does not have to be the same dude. He can be 75% of prime Michael Thomas, and he will still easily outperform this ADP. We know that peak Michael Thomas may never be coming back, but we're not paying anything close to that. And so we can take the discount here with the concerns and we look for the upside, and Michael Thomas has that in bunches. Jameis Winston, while he wasn't a gunslinger last year, Sean Payton is no longer there. And we've seen Winston throw for 5,000 yards as an NFL pro. So there is a possibility they go to a more pass-happy attack. There's still a slight suspension opportunity, maybe for Alvin Kamara. If that happens, Thomas is easily going to see a massive target share. So there's a lot of question marks, but there also are a lot of things that could go right for Michael Thomas to outperform his current ADP. Chris Godwin is another stud wide receiver that has some injury concerns. But it looks like Godwin is going to play week 1. And even if he doesn't, the price here, he's wide receiver 30 with an ADP of 71. So we're getting him as a mid-level wide receiver 3 for a guy that's going to be at worst a very high-end wide receiver 2 when he is back and fully healthy. Now, that might not be until October. But for wide receiver 30, you are paying up for a player who is going to have an elite target share when he's back, who is going to have plenty of scoring opportunities and one of the best passing attacks in the NFL. And I want those type of players on my roster. It may take a little bit, but it is worth the wait because that is the type of player that once he's back, puts your team over the top. And that is exactly the type of players that we look for when we're trying to win championships. I'm not so concerned with the Julio Jones signing because Jones and Godwin don't play the same position and don't run the same type of routes. It is not going to affect Chris Godwin with that signing. And we know that Tom Brady loves going to this guy. And if you're one of Tom Brady's favorite targets, I want you on my team. There's way too much upside for Godwin to be going so late in drafts. My final guy that I have been talking about since July as well is Rashad Bateman. He's wide receiver 33 with an ADP of 82, and that is way too cheap to be getting a guy who is going to be 1,000% the number 1 wide receiver in his offense. There is no one even close to the talent level as this wide receiver. There's James Prochet behind him, Devin Duvernay. These guys aren't getting targets. And so when the Ravens go to the air, which obviously is not going to be as much as managers might like, but when they do, it's going to be Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews, and that's it. And so when we know that that target share is going to be so high, and we have seen Bateman perform at the NFL level, he was really good in limited time last year. I mean, he came in late, was just getting his feet wet, and was still able to perform. And so now he's going to have probably a 90+% snap share in this offense. I want all the Rashad Bateman I can get. The final piece to this is that the Ravens must like him a lot because not only did they trade away Marquise Brown, who was buddy with Lamar Jackson, but they had no interest in any wide receivers in the open market. They were not going to add, and they have not added anybody. So the Ravens believe that he is the number one, he is their guy, and that he is going to produce for them. And if you can draft him, he will produce for you as well. There is no reason that Bateman should be going this late, and he is a league winner. And that's it. Short and sweet, to the point. Some guys that I really like to outperform their ADPs, who I think could potentially give you guys the leg up on your competition. If you enjoyed this content, if you learned something from it, as always, a like and a subscribe would mean so much to me. It always helps me out in the channel as well to keep us growing and moving forward. This is Relentless Press. I am your host, Abrimo Pats, and we'll see you next time.